Hello, I'm host Eric. I'm the host of Talking with Famous People, and I want to talk this evening about Megabro's Advanced and Regular. So, Megabro discussed about there being two kinds of intuition. First is your regular intuition, the way it functions when it's just operating, when it's idling, so to speak. And then how it functions differently when it is ramped up or functioning in an advanced state of some sort. So his explanation for the advanced form of NE is basically the regular form is what I would call it the ongoing associative idling process. So we all draw lots of associations. By that I mean one thing will remind us of something else. But at a certain point, one of those associative things will get our attention and we'll focus on that for a while. So how much association do we continue to do and how much do we settle on the things we've associated to think about is going to depend very much on where NE is in the stack, I think. I describe it in my response to Megabro's comment on YouTube. I say that it's a relationship with SI that slows NE down at a certain point is one element that I mentioned. That NE would like to be able to just deal with TI. TI will define the scope of something. The way that TI does that is like these sort of associative chains. I see some sort of word that reminds me, it says like, okay, here's a perfect example. I just made this up, but it's a perfect example of what it would be like. I read some billboard for The Purge. It's a movie or something, right? And it's not out now. It was out a while ago. But if I saw that billboard now, it would surely remind me of the word turgid, which I put in a video up here. So then an untasked, unconstrained NE-driven interaction just talks to TI, more or less. It says, purge, turgid. That's funny, that video I made. I like that video. And then TI says, no, that was the worst of the two. And he goes, yeah, you're right. And then the two, meaning NE's already drawn another association. It's drawn an association between the turgidity video and the coquettishness video, which I made on the same day, and both in the same sort of general style of joking about words videos. And then I might start thinking about delineation, which is another such video, and I will eventually come to draw the association then with a word that's not fake, but that is, it sounds like fake, which is quadruple. And I started laughing about my quadrupling, and then maybe I come up with an idea of quadrupling, what I want to do with it, like how I want to implement this. It might remind me, oh yeah, I want to try to figure out that live streaming thing, so I could stream I could stream a GoToMeeting and have people join and leave as they see fit during the course of that time, But so now I've gone from what? Gone from a movie side billboard about the purge to thinking about, again, my YouTube channel, which I think about quite a bit. And thinking like, oh, well, if I did that, then I would be able to do this other thing that sounds fun. And I've long since left behind any possible utility in this process. It's just this sort of spinning around, unbound, and going where it may. Now I cover little bits of ground, so maybe I'll focus a little bit of attention on that, getting the thing done. I'll think like, oh yeah, I should go and try that again. That's a hassle to think about. But then you start getting into too much TI. Well, what exactly was the problem? I need to troubleshoot that. I tried it before, I wasn't able to do it. Alright, so when it gets more advanced is when you have a purpose and a goal that is fairly well defined. In that instance, TI says, okay, now any, throw me a bunch of associations, but I need you to not throw me random shit. I don't need to know about how the purge relates to me quadruple on YouTube. Now, in this instance, let's say it's a debate thing, a work thing. I need to know how purging the economy of deadweight bureaucratic jobs has an impact on other businesses that are not in the public sector, for example. And so I'm going to say, well, we know that firing private sector employees, on the one hand, means that they're going to have less disposable income because they're not working, they're not getting paid. On the other hand, we know that if we can dismantle government, then those businesses will have more total resources to deal with because they're not going to get taxed as much. So if we are making a substantial dent in the deadweight employees of the federal government, not all of whom are deadweight, but some of them are, we're going to, that's our plan, like, well, here's what we're going to do for this purpose of this debate topic to accomplish something. Then we need to show you that, well, if we have a large number of those people getting fired, then we're going to have a large amount of reduction in fully employed people with disposable income to spend. On the other hand, we will have a large increase in the amount of tax dollars retained by those businesses. So in that instance, we've got two conflicting vectors. So how are we going to resolve that? And how are we going to link those things to accomplish our two things? And you might say, well, the consumer spending angle is actually worsened, not mitigated, by the retention of wealth from taxation angle, because that wealth is most likely to be saved and or invested in ways that do not directly help the employees who have been fired by the federal government. So this is going to worsen income inequality because there's no means by which those federal employees now can blah, 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 like that. That sort of process, that is the energy using kind of NE, where we're on the fly here. I'm having to come up in front of you some analysis of why two things that don't appear to contradict do contradict, or whatever. This is TI who's checking to see if Ernie's coming up with the right answer. And it's one of those things where TI is not quite sure how NE always does it, but somehow NE manages. Man, you can give any two things and say, okay, do your associative trick where you can show how that A equals 5 and A equals not 5 are actually both true and prove each other. So that's the hard part of NE, and then the reason is because a lot of times NE has to project out through some potentialities. So if they hear a big debate case, being able to spot where to attack and why is something that's art more than science, but it involves things like, okay, well, he's got a contention here that relies upon this particular function here in his framework. But we've pointed out that he can have framework, but if he keeps this other part of framework of his, which he needs in conjunction with the first part, then that framework as a whole is contingent then upon that, and it will collapse if we knock down this other thing that's weaker, and we can make these links happen, and we can knock down the whole thing by attacking the weakest thing that's defended, which he thinks he has firewalled off. So that kind of thinking is the kind of thinking where I have to use both NE and TI at full blast. In fact, when I was doing that thing right there, I was not seeing anything with my eyes at all. I literally wasn't. I mean, it's sort of just general light color kind of a thing, I guess, but I wasn't seeing anything specific. I wasn't noting any sights around me. I was purely in my head. My visual stimuli were turned off.